Sky Squad, let's have a little ponderosa, okay? Let's have a little ponderosa about Giselle and Robin and this reasonably shady podcast that keeps getting them into trouble. Maybe this podcast ain't the thing for y'all, or maybe it is, and maybe this is what y'all like. Maybe y'all like seeing y'all names in headlines, that usually ain't good. I don't know. But what I will say is that Giselle must be stopped. Let's go ahead and get into it. Before we really go all the way into it, I heard about this story on Monday because it came out on Monday, pretty much the podcast. And when I saw it and I heard it, I got it from my good girlfriend Taria over at the What Else Is Going On podcast. I've had her on the show before. She sent it over to me, but I had already done the SWV and Escape Live, and I think I was just like tired, and I honestly could not muster the strength to get back up on the internet and talk about it until today. So we're gonna talk about it now, and let's get into the headline of it all. Radar Online says Real Housewives of Potomac star Giselle Bryant slammed for using a disgusting slur on her podcast. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in depth. All right. Basically, what she and Robin were discussing was the Fox Nation documentary that was about Jussie Smollett and the hate crime hoax. Giselle's words verbatim, because she's describing the situation for those who may have been living under a rock, may not know. She says what he did, in case you guys don't remember, was he staged a hate crime. So they were supposed to put a noose around his neck and they were supposed to call him. Then she hesitates and she says the gay slur that they allegedly said. And then she says, or something, gay empire boy or something. So let's talk about it. First of all, that word, it starts with an F, right? And for the purposes of the YouTube, we're just going to say a gay slur. It's a name that has been really used to describe little boys and men who are gay or who are effeminate acting, quote unquote, right? There's really no way to be politically correct about it. It's just to say what it is. This word has been used for years. At this point in time, I find it lazy, but whatever the case may be. When I look at the intent, because Giselle, she's being dragged for this in a lot of news outlets. When I look at the intent behind the usage of the word on the show, do I think that she had ill intent behind it? I don't think so. I don't think that Giselle thinks a lot, like about what she says sometimes. So I think sometimes or she's saying things because she knows that they're gonna cause a stir, right? So I have a problem if it is that. I also have a problem in that, when you have a podcast, and I listen, if you got a voice, you can have a podcast. If you're well known, you can have a podcast. I don't think that there's anything wrong with anybody having a podcast. However, when you are in the public eye, someone like Giselle, you have got to have a self producing gene working on your behalf, right? And if you don't have that gene, okay, I just made that term up. You've got to have a producer on hand who can say to you, I think we're going to bleep that out. We're going to cut that out of the show. Because in my mind, I can't believe that any producer would allow that to pass through. Granted, that might have been what was said, and she might be describing it accurately. But the fact of the matter is, That's just not something you say on air. You got to know that. And maybe it's because I I come from the old school way of doing news where you are not allowed to curse. I mean, it's just certain guidelines that you follow, and I just don't understand why over there at Black Effect Media, over at the iHeart Media, is no one catching this in the edit? So I got to look there. Um I could look at Giselle and wonder what was going through her mind, but I can usually never figure it out. So I'm gonna leave that to her. And that's no shade to her because I think she is someone who is used to trying to make good television. So she's clearly trying to make good podcasting. But the fact that she hesitated before she said it lets me know that there was some thought there that maybe it wasn't the right thing to say. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think a producer who is producing them actively would solve a lot of their problems. Okay. Robin Dixon, that goes for you as well. Now, let's talk about Married to Medicine. Because to be quite honest with you, for those of you guys who are interested, Potomac is allegedly back to filming. If you look online, you can see the clips floating around. The Queens of Bravo is reporting that everybody is back. I just don't know that I have the interest in it or where I will be at that point in my journey of YouTube, if I will even be interested in covering that show anymore. I'm not interested after this past season, so I really don't know. But I'll let you guys know if anything changes. I mean, I might be motivated once I see a trailer or something like that. But right now, I'm over it. Moving along to Married to Medicine. So Quad is making the waves because there's speculation that she may not be returning. And our friends over at Urban Bell Mag happened to catch some quotes from Quad saying that the cast will have to step it up to carry the show without her. Because as you guys know, Quad has affirmed that, she ain't signed that contract yet. Okay. So an Instagram user said, sign that contract, Quad. We, the fans, need you, and they for sure need you. And Quad wrote back, I want to be treated fairly. Someone else wrote, please say you coming back this next season. It's going to be boring without you. Quad said, well, everyone will have to step up and pull their weight without commenting on my life. There's a lot of stars on the show, so they should be able to do that with no problem. Now, that was shady. That was shady. In my mind, I'm like, that could even be seen as shade to Phaedra. Okay. Quiet as it's kept. Or I could be putting 20 on 10. I don't know. But it's interesting. She says there's a lot of stars on the show. So they should be able to do that with no problem. Now, let's look at the situation for what it is. Phaedra's on the show, signed on the dotted line. It would be anticipated that Quad would come back. I don't know why they didn't work out Quad's contract before they worked out Dr. G's and his fiance or wife or whatever and Phaedra's. Y'all should have had Quad's deal locked, stock, and loaded well before y'all even made any motion in the direction of Dr. G and his fiance. Because honestly, without Quad in that mix, Dr. G and his fiance, unless they got something going on, then what we really wanted to see was Quad have to interact. And what we wanted to see was Quad and Phaedra. So without the two of them, I mean, I know we're gonna get something because we have Dr. Heavenly on board. You know what I'm saying? She's always gonna deliver something. Toya's always gonna give us something. Dr. Simone always gonna scream. Dr. Jackie is gonna sell her products. Bottom line. So we need some people to come in and shake some things up. Quad is one of those people. So what they're gonna do without her? Because right now, this without that don't make sense. And by that, I mean the connection, right? The connectivity of it all. Seeing Dr. G and his new fiance, it's all great and all, but we want to see Quad in that mix too. All right. For this to all really make sense. But y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm going to get back to studying because your boy is passing this exam. And with that being said, I will catch you all in the next video. So I'm Richie Skye, the author and publisher of The Wickedest Wives, Desiree's Desire, which is book 1 in a series. This book is about redemption. It's the story of a disgraced journalist who has lost everything. And now she has to rebuild her life brick by brick. And what better way to do that than to join a reality TV show? Why not? Now, not only are we talking reality TV, so you know there's gonna be scandal, you know there's gonna be a little bit of deception, backstabbing, a little romance, and why not throw in a sprinkle of murder to really round out the excitement? So I really want you guys to dive headfirst into these books. Desiree's Desire is just the first of many to come. So I'm super excited for you guys to read this, and I want to know exactly what you think. So be sure to follow, like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.